just talk a little bit about Scotland and about the Gender Recognition
Yes,
Act there,
indeed.
and the genuine trouble it has caused the SNP with losing thousands of members.
Do you think it's all over that?
Well, it has to be a factor. It has to be a factor, Suzy. It just has to be.
Well, this is the problem we have here. It's a 2-year. Some people feel, who are trans, they want to adjust the way their gender is written down in governmental form, and it's 2 years at the moment. And the SNP, I believe, will bring it in. It was going to be 3 months. You had to avow 3 months, and then you had to do another 3 months waiting.
They
That's a
said
total
that you
of 6
could do
months.
it at 16, which does to a lot of people seem.
Well, okay. Well, look at it this way. Certain people are saying if you transition, they want to retransition, and you've had a surgical operation. What do you do then? But then, if you do want to transition and you're not allowed to transition, then people could be self-harming and even killing themselves. So how do you balance those two together? And the answer, I think, is there is no perfect balance, but we are trying to find it. And I think they were trying to find, they felt that was a way to go. So I don't think that the fact that, I'm not going to put down all their losses of members is down to that. But the point is, if you're heading forward into a fairer future for trans people, it's going to be a little tricky.
Yeah. So Keir Starmer, and I know that you have an interest in joining the Labour Party. You've wanted to stand
I've been in the Labour Party since '95. So
you want to stand as their
MP.
MP. Yep. He said today that the party needs to reflect on what happened in Scotland with the GRA, and the lesson that he takes from all of that is that if you're going to make reforms, you have to carry the public with you.
Yeah.
So how do you think he does that?
Well, the way I've been trying to take the public with me is I move at the speed of a glacier, but also the momentum of a glacier. But I do get there, and I do take things forward, and I do adjust things. Like I've been out this long, and I just added in Suzy. So I'm not saying that's the speed you need to go at, but you have to take a sense of things, and then sometimes you have to move forward. Like Ireland said, we're going to ban smoking. Remember that for health? And we remember that feeling. I mean, what? You're going to just ban it? And then, everyone jumped in, and suddenly everyone's doing it. I think, well, it's way better for health, isn't it? So the people arguing against smoking, it was a different thing. I don't know if they just wanted the freedom to be able to smoke anywhere they wanted to, but it is a tricky question. When gay rights and lesbian rights, those arguments were also very heated. Yes, bring the public with you, but I'm not a member of the SNP, but maybe they lost a third of them, but they still had 2/3 of the people still voting for that. It's not a very good argument, I don't think.
So
but
when,
anyway,
when you stood
everyone didn't leave.
for selection as the Labour MP for Sheffield, I know that you said during that campaign you had a torrent of really horrendous transphobic...
Not on the streets. The streets of people of Sheffield were wonderful. I had met 2 people who were kind of transphobic to my face. That's it, 2 people out of all the people I door knocked and met and whatever.
Right, so the rest of it was on the socials.
It was socials,
online.
which, and online, you know what people can do when they're behind a firewall. They can come up with the most horrendous stuff. And so I just didn't read that.
What does it make you feel, though, knowing that that's out there? And I think it's very important to hear from people. And as you've said, people who have lived their lives with this force of whatever it is, aggression, fear, distaste, whatever it is against them. It's important for us to all hear what it does to your life when you have to receive that.
I think it can be hugely intimidating. I mean, I must admit, when people say horrible things online, I don't read them. So that's my technique. That's my top tips. When I get it in the street, I give it back to them. I will stand my ground. I mean, the first day I came out and went on public transport back in early 85, I got some bullying going on. But in the end, I turned around and said, right, do you want me to tell you what I'm all about? And then they ran off into the distance. So it's not a perfect thing, but I will stand my ground. It is hellish if people are shouting abuse. And I have literally had 20 minutes of them shouting abuse and I shout abuse back. It's not a great thing to be around, but I just won't. I won't back down. I will stand my ground. Not everyone's made like me. I'm just some sort of strange, tough little git who runs multiple marathons and is very determined. So it can, I'm sure for other people, it is much tougher for them. I'm sure some of the people who are being really transphobic, so there might be a thought behind that. Whether certain people are saying, "What happens if someone transitions and wants to retransition?" You don't have a perfect answer for that. But what if they do want to transition and they can't transition? This is the point where we're a little bit stuck at. But the idea that trans people do exist, at least that's out there. I know some transphobic people say they shouldn't exist or don't exist, but we do. We're here. I've been here forever, and we've been here since if you think about it, since the dawn of time.
Yeah,
LGBTQ
I don't think
people.
No right-minded person is saying that trans people don't exist, but you will understand this. Well, they shouldn't. I mean, some people though are concerned about safe spaces for women, and I think a lot of people listening right now will feel that those concerns are entirely legitimate.
Well, I'm not I'm not going to be the trans poster person. I just don't have all the answers for everything. But I don't think I've been through 38 years of dealing with people physically fighting me in the street, hurling abuse at me, and then I'm going to go to the loo and fight someone who is a woman.
I don't think you are either.
But that is levelled at.
Well, that clearly is absurd, and it shouldn't be levelled at anybody. But there is no doubt. I mean, I think I'm absolutely certain I've been in a loo with a trans woman. Did it impact me one iota? No, it didn't. But that isn't quite the same thing as women-only prisons, for example, is it?
No, I honestly, I'm not coming to politics to say I have all the answers for how we should take the trans situation forward. I don't have all those answers. So if you ask me to sort it all out right now, I can't.
Do you think, you're such a performer and you're so brilliant. Do you actually honestly want to be a backbench MP?
Why do I have to be a backbench?
Well, okay. Do you want to be the Home Secretary, Suzy?
What, does it have to be the Home Secretary?
Oh, do you want to be the
What
Prime
is your
Minister?
preferred position?
No, this is you need to do three things. You need to be able to do three things that I've analysed if you want to be a politician. You need to be able to communicate. I think I can do that. You need to be able to articulate clearly exactly what you're feeling. And here you're doing very good questions, and I'm trying to articulate back exactly how I feel without saying something that's falling into another area. Yeah. You need to have a vision for the future. And I think a lot of people in politics maybe don't have articulate vision. Mine is one sentence of my vision is everyone in the world has the right to a fair chance in life. That's everyone in the constituency that I will represent, everyone in the country, everyone in the continent, and everyone in the world. We all have that right. The 21st century is the coming of age of humanity. We have to get it right this century. We've got 80 years, I feel, to make humanity fair. The other thing you have to do is be able to analyze systems and say what isn't working in the system and what is working. Keep the bits that are working and change the bits that aren't. Those three things I think are what are needed, and I can do that. And I was thinking to myself back in 2008, do I want to go through this in my entire life? And I think you get one life each. I don't know if there's any other lives that come back and you come back as something else, but I know I've got this life, and do I want to go through it and not lend my skills to try and make it better for as many people as possible, try and make it a fair world as good as I can. And I thought, no, I do want to go in and do that. And Glenda Jackson did the same, and Arnold Schwarzenegger did the same.
So you've got a minute, and that's only because we've only got a minute of the programme left. What is the first thing that you'd change if we waved a magic wand?
No, I can't do that. I can't do that. Well, I would... It's
what would be
no,
what would be the defining...
you would come in as a backbench MP. So
for sure. But what's the one thing that you look at which really frustrates you, where you just think I would change?
Well, everyone.
that?
I would say I'm trying to head forward that everyone has a fair chance. Everyone makes connections rather than break connections. We must be brave and curious, not fearful and suspicious. And the right wing constantly encourages people to be fearful and suspicious, and they are the people to fear. It is the right wing that you need to fear. So I cannot say specifically on day one I'm going to put that in because I won't have the power to do that. But I do want to try and move in our entire country and our continent and our world towards a fairer existence.
Did you get lots of blisters when you were running your marathons?
When I went around the UK, I got multiple blisters, and when I went around South Africa, 27 marathons, 27 days, I got one blister. Because you have to wear a pair of shoes that is a size bigger than you normally wear, because your feet will expand because the blood goes into it. And that's why people should buy tickets for Great Expectations at eddieizzard.com. On sale right now, coming in May.
Beautifully done, and timing-wise as well.
Yes.
Suzy, thank you. Very nice to see you in the studio today. If you enjoyed that, what should people do?
Well, the best thing would be if you could listen to us on Times Radio, Monday to Thursday, 3 till 5, Jane and Fee.